Hello, everybody. Welcome in. How are you guys doing today? Happy Tuesday. It's Tuesday today. Future Snow, Zen, Mydro. What's going on, guys? Another year, another round of TwitchCon. I thought TwitchCon just existed to generate controversy, to get the company's name, like, out there. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Because it is. It really is just like year after year of like horrible things happening. Welcome, Noober Gaming. Welcome. He's my airbrush for the first time. Oh, cool. All right. Good luck. I know it can be very frustrating paint with an airbrush, but yeah, it's very rewarding also. As we're painting on some more magnesium on some of these minis, doing touch-ups and covering some of these other bits we never got to. That's what we're doing right now. Hoping I can finish these minis today. We do have quite a bit to do. I have silver to go over. I got black highlights to do. I have the gray, like, inter armor in between the armor plates. Yeah, we got some other touch-ups. We'll be doing some stuff, but we'll try to finish. I got brown to highlight. We'll do our best. Afraid to push the buttons wrong. Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah, it's one of those things, like, you're always learning something new, whether by choice or not. Sometimes you're just having a crappy experience and you gotta figure out the solution. He keeps asking why I keep putting a ship wheel in the belt buckle on my pirate concert. It's driving. Okay, yeah, thank you. Driving you nuts. Yep. Welcome in, Cultured American. How you doing? Forgot the trim on this leg. Yeah, guys, I hope everybody had a great evening yesterday. Hope you guys are doing well. I'm just chilling in paint. I don't have any crazy things going on, so that's good though, right? Just trying to finish these minis. I started assembling the Noise Marines, and the Noise Marines they're cool minis. They're not crazy. They don't have as much skin on them, which is an interesting difference. But they're strange in the assembly process. What's up, Wandering Pig? More silver than I was expecting. Look at the bottle. It's expecting a dark copper. Yeah, it's definitely not copper. No, it's a warm silver. Very dark, warm silver. Should work on the Emperor's Children commission I was tasked. Oh yeah, you probably should. There we go. We can work on commissions together. So, I was assembling those Noise Marines. And before you get to assembling the actual Noise Marines, there's 2 pages of instructions of assembling optional parts on the minis. Or interchangeable parts. Sorry, not optional. Interchangeable parts. So, there are, it has like, okay, cut out the heads are interchangeable, the shoulder pads, okay, the backpacks are each 3 pieces, those are all interchangeable with each other, and they're interchangeable on the minis. And then there's the fronts of the weapons, the sonic blasters, and then there's also the actual sonic blasters, and the arms themselves are all interchangeable. So it's just like, it's just interchangeable pieces that you're just doing nonstop. And then after all of that, you feel like you've assembled the entire squad of minis. And it's like, oh yeah, and you can go ahead and put these 4-part minis together. And that's all they are. And you just put all the extra pieces on them. It was very strange for a Games Workshop mini to have that many steps of like interchangeable parts before I actually started assembling like the legs and torso on the mini. Okay, all right, John Lockridge, you can just stay over there in YouTube on your own. You're lonesome over there because I'm not gonna engage with that anime horse girl talk. Yeah, I can't imagine Ghibli telling people to magnetize a 40k kit. I don't know if these necessarily magnetize well. It's just, hey, these are interchangeable with the other minis, and that's about the extent of it. So it's very appropriate. It is not appropriate for these models. Don't start spreading that kind of slander around here. This guy, make sure we got the things painted that we need painted. I think he's good. Seems good. Alright, 6 down already for this. What are you guys up to today? Hey, Blue, what's going on, man? You home today? Working from home? Working more on that Saturnine Dreadnought? Culture American saying, John, come to Twitch. We have community cookies, and apparently Culture American wants anime Snake Girls instead. So... Saturday just staring at you. It's a big boy. So I believe it. Okay. It looks good so far, though. I think you're gonna have a really unique color scheme, which is gonna be great. For a mini that's so like focused for the Horus Heresy, it'll be cool to see it painted in like a 40k color scheme. Printing the last set of stairs, nice. Did it fail again or what? Yeah. I sent Zen some STLs to print, and it is a giant like courtyard plaza piece kind of thing. we were saying yesterday, it's like 22 inches in length and width, because it's like shallow stairs leading to like a central like little like courtyard thing. It's this whole like thing. Fortunately, it's able to be broken down, but it's a giant piece of terrain. I'm really excited though. I don't think it's going to be like too big, and having some like the elevation on it's going to be really cool. The fact that minis can go up on, including vehicles, and putting on a bunch of different things to add to it, like blocking line of sight or whatever, is all gonna look super cool. Okay, you've been printing smaller pieces. Nice, man. Thank you. I'm really excited. Jaded Valkyrie, welcome in. How are you doing? We are just doing touch-ups and painting the little studded pieces here, and these little like metal pieces that you wouldn't think of. Could you put those on CSM models? I don't know. I don't know how So the backpack on these are an interchangeable piece, and these are actually 3 pieces to make these backpacks, but that's the connector. I don't know what the back of the other Chaos Marine minis look like, if they would fit that, but maybe. You're waiting for the caffeine to kick in. Yeah. Spell check. It tells you the word is wrong, but doesn't change the word when you click on it. Yeah. Yeah, I heard about that, Zen. Yeah. Don't go to TwitchCon, guys. That sounds just like a cringe disaster waiting to happen. Also, don't touch people without their permission. It's pretty simple rules to live by for most people. You would think, yeah. Like I said, most people. It's simple for most people. But I think we should all understand the people that go to TwitchCon are not like most people. It is funny though, the only way I ever know that TwitchCon actually happened, or is coming up, or I guess not coming up, I never hear about it. The only thing I hear about is just the horrible thing that happens at TwitchCon. And it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess TwitchCon happened, so. Okay, that one's done. Let's get this next guy about over halfway done with these. Lots of skin. I don't know. Maybe that's a testament to how small of a streamer I really am, where Twitch doesn't even bother telling me about TwitchCon. Or maybe it's in like the 100 notifications that I get my Twitch when I open it up, and they're just like go look at this notification, and I click it to mark it as read and don't read anything. they're screaming at me to come to TwitchCon, which I doubt it. Screaming me to pay for tickets to go to TwitchCon. How was Dunkin' Donuts today? Dunkin' Donuts was fine today. I learned a valuable lesson yesterday at Dunkin' Donuts. And no, I do not want to go to TwitchCon at all. Like, that's one of the places I'd want to go to the least. So yesterday, you know what? Okay, the first time I went there, I was I put in my order and I was talking to the lady at the counter or at the cash register, and I told her what I wanted, and I kind of asked like, okay, how much do I get, you know, of like milk or flavoring in my coffee and all this stuff, and she's like, well, she's like, a single order of sweetener, we put like 3 like pumps or whatever, 3 shots of sweetener in the thing we do, and we do the same for like flavoring, and we do the same for like milk, like your milk option. So 3 shots or whatever. And I was like, okay, so if I get, you know, being the oh hey, Ray Wolf, what's going on? Welcome in. Thank you for the raid. How you doing? About to go on a rant about Dunkin' Donuts, so you're in the right place, maybe? I don't know. I'm just painting Emperor's Children. How you guys doing? The painting dad, I literally just chill and paint 6 days a week, so if that's your jam, then you're in the right place. How was your how was your stream, Grey Wolf? Also, do you play Space Wolves in a Warhammer 40k or 30k game? I have to know. It is it's basically a requirement for my stream to know if people do or not. Yeah, it's my old man yells at clouds or whatever moment. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Yes, yeah. You play Dark Angels 30k. Okay, legit. All right, Dark Angel's pretty cool, but you are a Space Wolf player. Yeah. Yep. Space Wolf players find my stream. It's every single day. There's a new Space Wolf player that comes. There's just like someone comes. You're like, hey, I'm new here. I just got in the hobby. I'm like, oh, well, you play Space Wolves every day. And yeah, and I believe it's because I play Thousand Suns and you guys sniff me out or something. Yeah. Someone on YouTube said if you play Space Wolves, you will be mocked. I do stream on YouTube and Twitch. We're gonna commission for some Iron Hands. That sounds boring. Dang. But no, it's alright. At least I'm not painting my Thousand Suns. That's true. When I paint my Thousand Suns, the Space Wolves come in and they just start like howling as they come in. So you play more Dark Angels. Okay, I'll forgive you. It's all good. You're alright in my book. As much as I hate Space Wolves, I absolutely despise them. Like in lore and in gameplay and all this stuff, I hate Space Wolves. I have played against a total of 2 Space Wolf players in my life, and both of them have been some of the most fun opponents I've ever played against. One guy would howl when he had a big roll coming up, which was really bad. But otherwise, you know, I can't complain about the people that play Space Wolves. I did almost get in a fight with a guy in an elevator at a convention once because I saw a Space Wolf army, but otherwise, like, no, people that play Space Wolves have been pretty cool, so just ignore that. Best time to get in Space Wolves with some of the best new models. Yeah, Space Wolves do have some good models. They have good 40k models. And the reason that they're so good is because they toned down the wolfiness on them. Now, they still have incredibly dumb-looking bear heads, but not like, you know, raw bear heads, but like, you know, helmetless heads. Which is funny considering that the new Marauder set is coming out for the old world, and those Marauders look amazing. They look like better Space Wolf conversion fodder than the actual Space Wolves themselves. So, made a grave mistake. My mask wasn't on me correctly. I took a massive amount of IPA fumes to my face. Yeah. No, you're fine. You're fine, man. If it just takes one time to get inhaling IPA to like lose it, then I have been gone for a very long time. This None of this is reality. None of this stream. I'm just in a nursing home at this point, living out my last days because I have inhaled more than enough IPA. Yeah, just don't make it a habit, I guess. Yeah, wandering picked exactly. Yeah. So anyway, I was talking about Dunkin' Donuts. All right. So first time I go into Dunkin' Donuts, we had a new one open near us. I got a couple months worth of free coffee, pretty legit. I've been going every day. First time I go in, I'm like, hey, how do I flavor my coffee? Like, how does this work? Because you pick three things in your coffee. You pick a flavoring, you pick a sweetener, and you pick a milk, like a milk or cream option or whatever. Do not drink the IPA. Yeah. So, yeah, and yeah, so the lady tells me, okay, yeah, we get three shots of each when you ask for that particular thing. And I was like, okay, cool. So I would go in there and I'd be like, all right, so I want, almond milk, and I would like, or I'd like double almond milk, and I'm trying to lower the calories on this, so I get Splenda, and then I get an unsweetened flavoring. All right, so then you see them put it in the computer, and it's like 3, 3, and 6. Okay, cool. So then I go the next time. I'm like, all right, I want I want Splenda, I want flavoring, and I want double almond milk. And then I see 1, 1, and 2, and I and they give me like this barely sweetened, like undiluted iced coffee. I'm like, okay, so what do I say then? And so I go in another time, I'm like, all right, I want sweetener, flavoring, and double almond milk, and I get 3, 3, and 6. Am I off target? I am off target. There we go. Thank you. Um, so yeah, I finally just decided that I'm gonna tell them 3 shots, and 6 shots of the thing, and that seems to have worked. So I was a little frustrated yesterday. I ordered my what counts as barely sweetened at Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, I mean it is when it's a third of the amount of Splenda that they would put in my coffee. What's the combo? Like what should you say, or what do I get? I've been trying the different flavorings. I haven't tried like the weird ones like raspberry or anything, but oh, what do I get? So I got an iced coffee, and I've either been I liked the I think I liked the hazelnut the best so far of their unsweetened flavors, but I've been getting 3 shots of hazelnut, 3 shots of Splenda, and then 6 shots of almond milk. And normally I like oat milk in my coffee a little better, but um I don't know. Their oat milk is like diluted or something even more because it's not doing anything. So I don't know. Zen's gonna like prank me or something. He's gonna. You can't bring me extra coffee, dude, because I'm gonna die. I'm never gonna leave the toilet. I'm gonna try the blueberry again. I thought it was okay. It wasn't my favorite, but now that I have like I know like how to order, I'm gonna try it. And again, I have 100 days of free coffee from this place, so like I'm gonna try all the different things. So if I don't like it that day, like it's fine. At the end of the day, it's just sugar, right? It's just a sweetener is the only the the only issue, right? Or that's the worst thing, is that it's the blueberry flavor, which I think the toasted almond was probably the biggest disappointment. I'll make a tier list. Yeah, after 100 days, guys. I'll make a YouTube video. I drank Dunkin' Donuts for 100 days. Every day for 100 days. Here's my tier list. The thing I'm scared to try, none of this, it's literally coffee, dude. Cultured American's going for the real like no brain takes, like boomer takes. It's only coffee if it tastes horrible and it makes me poop my pants. Like there's it's the next supersized movie. Yeah. Just that's why I get the sugar-free, man. The coffee's like 30 calories. It's great. I only drink mud. Yeah, if you're not drinking mud, you're not a real American. Honestly, if it were free, I'd be getting like blended drinks and stuff more, but going for cheap. So, because I somewhat like the taste of coffee, but you know what I like more than the taste of coffee is the taste of cream and sugar. So, if I can have coffee that tastes exactly like ice cream, that's gonna taste a lot better to me than drinking just coffee. So, that's what I'm going for. A drip coffee flavor with pounds of sugar. I got 3 shots of Splenda. This man's talking about like I'm dumping a bag of sugar in my coffee. Yorkshire tea is the way. I'm a big fan of Earl Grey. You mean Earl Grey tea? One of my like. Also, what's up, Pirate Gamer? Unironically, one of the like okay when I was like working early mornings and stuff when I had a real job. Like one of my favorite parts of my morning was drinking a cup of like Earl Grey tea. And sometimes I take it with me to work and I drink it on my break. But like opening the bag of tea and just like smelling the tea and the bergamot or whatever, just so satisfying. It's like the most like wake me up smell, aside from like was like ammonia, I guess, or whatever. But tea Earl Grey hot. Yep. Cup of chai. Okay. You got a milk foamer to make lattes. Nice. Only counts as coffee if it's from the coffee region of Kentucky. Yeah, Kentucky. The the notable grower of American coffee. Yeah. Thai just means tea. Yeah, it does. It does. That's why Wandering Pict is cultured and does not say chai tea. She says chai. So us Americans could learn a thing or two here. Like nan bread, yeah, or non bread. Captain Picard would have never defeated the Borg if not for Earl Grey and his marvelous tea. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, ATM machine is another one. I get the pistol studs. Did I get the other one? I didn't get the other one, did I? Where is that dumb skin-covered pistol? It's over here. Curse you. And trust Americans to make a decent cup of tea since the awful giant cup you tried to make in the Boston Heart. That's fair, yeah. The Americans could learn a lesson or two from that right now. As of yesterday, Columbus now has 62 separate incidents this year of people driving their vehicles into buildings. I wonder how intentional some of these are. A horrible game of 40k the other day. I was throughway with my ad mech and did player and orc player. Orc I was cheating left. Oh, that's too bad. Wandering Pig. Lame. Really lame. Sorry about that. Hopefully you don't play with that person anymore. And hopefully they figure out why. There's some introspection there or something. Doesn't deserve to be an orc player. No. Yeah. Got all angry all of a sudden when you said not bread. They corrected yourself. Nan? Dude, I'm from Ohio. It's Nan bread. It's that fancy stuff. The other side of the world. He's still in the playgroup. I have to say, if they pair me with him again, I might just not show up. Yeah, that's probably the way to go. Just tell somebody why. You know, like... Not like you have to be confrontational with the person, but... Alright, to put you back. Let's get these last two. Well, this guy doesn't have much, it's good. Proper cup of British-made tea one day, yeah. Really gonna get into this this silver here today. Tuna player is also like his first game. I think I could just drop. Oh, that's so bad. You gotta tell somebody. You have to tell somebody. What an absolute guy. You're gonna tell us like the full story tomorrow evening on the Patreon chat if you're up that late. But I need my weekly dose of hobby drama. Estrello linked a okay, yeah, that's fair. And if you do fall asleep, that's okay. You know, no hard feelings or anything. But Estrello shared a story about a commission painting service, like screwing somebody over. And I started reading into it, and I found out it was like a 63-page forum thread on Daka Daka. And I was like, I'm not reading all this. And there's like, oh, the person, like the quote-unquote victim or whatever, posted a video. No, they posted like 6 videos, and each of them are half an hour long. And I was like, I can't. This is too much. Like, I think I got the gist of it. They were showing minis on a low-res camera 15 years ago, and about their models weren't. They're supposed to be painted to a near Golden Demon level, every model in their army, and it wasn't. Yeah, the whole point of the first gaming experience... Guys, if you're teaching someone how to play the game, let me explain something really simple, alright? You're showing someone their first game. You know what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to help them win their first game, okay? I assume if someone is trying to learn the game and you're trying to teach them, you want that person to continue playing, right? And one of the best ways to help them want to stay in the hobby is to give them that little dopamine hit of a win. You know, you gotta help them win their first game. You can't just crush people like that and cheat. You know, that's ridiculous. Just laugh at my 5 squad infantry get wiped off the board because that's their job. Yeah. This big leg piece here, and then we'll move on probably to like a mid-tone. We'll do steel, I think. I care about winning myself, but at least, yeah, you want your games to be fair, yeah. Exactly. Am I supposed to win my game and not be locked down by Terminators turn 1 in my deployment? 4th edition? No, you weren't supposed to be. Like, I'm playing a game tonight. I'm teaching someone how to play, so I will most likely lose this game. And I don't know how much experience this person has with the last edition of Horus Heresy. If they have more experience in the game, you know, and they're not just getting the hobby, it's different. But you know, I'm going to try to help them make good decisions. Try to help them win their game. Like you want to do all those things because you want people to stay in the hobby. An army of Terminators teach people a new game either. Yeah. Yeah, you bring lots of different things. You give them the cooler things, right? They don't have an army of their own. Okay. So Space Marines or Chaos Space Marines with Land Rangers and Lightning Claws. And 4th edition Assault Terminators were just disgusting. I've been looking into bolt action. I've not played it, but I'm still gonna let him win. Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, you gotta get to the gateway, right? Gateway drug. Keys down door. There's a stick up. Shows your best styles. I don't have him on me. I guess this would be the closest equivalent because he's been sitting down here. I painted this dude years ago. This was my time myself to paint Thousand Suns, and it took twice as long as I thought it would for the squad of 10. What's up, Doc Rose? Every time you say this TP, you always gotta bring up that you beat me in my first game of 30k. Did I beat you in your first game of 30k? That was the tank battle we had, right? Is that the one of Elios? Listen, man, let me explain something, alright? You're playing Solar Auxilian 2nd edition. There's only so much I can do to try to tip that game in your favor. you were playing like 800 points down that game. Chaos trim the horrors, yeah, that's what I'm doing here. About to paint some chaos trim. All I have is Deathwing. He had Tau. Feared they'd get shot off the board. Nope, he's cool and stayed in the hobby. Okay. Yeah, at least if you're gonna win, you gotta make it fun, right? Sorry, Doc Rose. I did my best. Let's see how this steel highlights over magnesium. It was a league game. Yeah, okay, yeah. I remember that game. Dude, that was when I did I tried the force field meme for tanks at a tech marine, and I gave him the psychic discipline so he could put up a force field around him, a bubble. And I was like, cool, I just get like a 4-up invuln save, and you're just like shooting at my tanks, and I'm just passing 4-up invuln saves. Yeah. Blocked, yeah, way more. Yeah, way more. It took you all game to blow up like one of my tanks. That was insane. You know, one positive result from that game is my son was there watching, and he basically decided that he didn't care about 40k anymore, and he wanted to collect Horus Heresy when he saw that game played. So he wanted a Salamander's Legion after that. My games, I had like 4 people rooting for my Warlock that tied up Abaddon for 2 turns by himself. Nice. One of my first games I was losing bad, I had like 3 Skitarii left on the board. Yeah, you remember stuff like that, right? And your opponent's like, you guys are working together to make like a cool game, right? To have like fun with it. It's not just about like stomping your opponent into the ground. Getting sun right from wrong. 30k right, 40k do not touch. Yep. New tech priest, and you'll know you've been promoted from the brave Skitarii. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's a fun 40k experience. Or like when I'm playing in a league, and Avelios is very open and loud about how he's cheering against me and my partner in our doubles game.
It's clean. It's cold.
Yeah,
that's what I call high quality H2O.
Drink of water and a little stretch here. Make sure I don't lose my place. Got the legs. I got that shoulder. I got his head. Okay. All right. Said you can't play Eldar with armor values and blast templates. There were rules for Eldar in that a group created for 2nd edition Heresy. They had Eldar and Harlequins had rules that were very usable, and apparently really good. Yeah, armor values are cool. It's my duty to root against you. Yeah, that's fair. Disarm. Backpack and sword. I'm gonna paint this sword. Let's see. Blade a brighter silver. And backpack. Now I have an opportunity to adjust the color scheme here. Or I guess my color order. On the Noise Marines, it becomes, do I, instead of priming and base coating black, do I go magnesium, dry brush some of these highlights on, and then worry about all my other colors? Or do I just keep it the same method? As of right now, I don't know.
Stay on target.
Oh, there we go. That better? Nope. There we go. Okay. I believe that's the silver for that mini. Let's get the next one. A bunch of dudes with swords. There are 11 with swords in total. All the stabby, yeah. What's going to happen is I'm going to complain about highlighting all these swords, but then I'm going to get to the bolter marines and be like, man, I really don't like painting bolters. I wish I had more swords. What's going to happen? It's the natural progression. Hey, Dundersnuff. Welcome in. How are you doing today? Nice walk with your supervisor. Okay, oh, cool. So we can actually be friends. Yeah. That's funny. These faces, you run them through. Does something for Slash Marines? Yeah, they like that kind of thing, don't they? Fair. It's kind of their shtick. I don't finish these up today. Be working on them tomorrow. Hopefully finish them up tomorrow. I just know this silver is going to take a while, but this silver is also probably the color that's going to take us the longest. I don't think our black highlight's going to take us quite as long. So with that knowledge, maybe it would be better when I paint the Noise Marines. To put the magnesium down. Sort of a dry brush highlight. A quick and dirty highlight, and then get into the other colors. I don't know, what do you guys think? Anybody have any opinions on this? His favorite Mexican restaurant caught fire yesterday? Oh no. No, that's too bad. There was a restaurant my wife and I used to go to like every week. That was pretty close to us, and this is all the way back in like 2012 or whatever. But we'd go to this restaurant, it was super cheap, food was pretty good, it was nice. Yeah, it burnt down one day, and the owner had this whole thing about, we got to rebuild, and people donated a whole bunch of money to rebuild and everything, and the guy never rebuilt it. So, I don't know. I like to think that he took the money and he, paid his staff and did all of the appropriate things that one should do. But I have a feeling he just took all that money and ran with it and was like, alright, guess it's time for me to retire, and then just kind of... That was that. Yeah, it kind of stunk. Ugh. The food was cooked fully that day. I mean, it was cooked fully. I never had any issues with their like quality of food. Looks like it's college hangout place. Oh yeah. I went to college in a really small town, and there was a Chinese buffet there that was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. But we would go there all the time. Because, like, where else are you going to get Chinese food here? That place was sketchy, though. wrist and sword, and the other arm. How must have like bumped this thing? Let's see. There we go. Maybe that'll be better. Basing these for a client? I do believe I'm going to be basing them. So I actually messaged them last night, asked what basing style they wanted. So figured out. I believe I've based minis for him before. So yeah, that would be the appropriate thing. I think I'll wait until I'm done painting the Noise Marines as well before I jump in and do the basing on everybody, because basing is typically like a low time commitment of work per mini, but a lot of time of like drying and curing. So that lends itself well to doing a ton of minis all at once. I think tonight I'm going to try to finish assembling the Emperor's Children, or the Noise Marines. And then get to painting. See if I get to, I probably won't get to priming them. That'd be nice. Get them all primed before tomorrow, just in case. Tomorrow's their start day, but I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be happening. Just curious what basing might be. Yeah. As far as I'm aware, it's undecided, so, or at least I don't know what it is, if it is decided. Okay, I think that's 3 of 20 done. Let's get number 4.
First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your home.
Hey, Bardiglio, welcome. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Thank you for the follow. Just chilling. I'm working on some highlights on these minis. Next week is the last week of October, and I believe I'm going to have a day of giveaway, which means I need to start prepping the adorable little Warhound Titans. I have no idea how long they're going to take to paint. Titanicus. It's actually old Forge World Epic 40k. So it is pre-Adeptus Titanicus, but it's two little Warhound Titans that somebody actually sent to me to give away, which is really cool. Been any Space Wolves before? Are you a Space Wolves player, Bardiglio? My Warhounds didn't last that long, about 3 hours each. Okay, alright. I plan on painting 2 of them, and I think I might send, kind of do 2 drawings and send one to each winner. I think that's what we'll do. The wolves are everywhere. Yeah, Bardiglio, something funny. If you are a Space Wolves player, welcome in, regardless. You know, even Space Wolves players. But, I play Thousand Suns in Horus Heresy. I have about 10, it's over 10,000 points of painted Thousand Suns at this point. And it's every day. Every day, Space Wolf players are in my stream. Come by and say hi. I have painted 2 Space Wolf minis in my life. One was a commission. I painted a Wolfen mini for someone. A 40k Wolfen mini. And the other is a dead Space Wolf that sits on the base of my Saturnine Dreadnought. That's the extent of my Space Wolf painting. Got me into it, and Space Wolves just clicked. Yeah, do you howl at the moon on cloudy nights as well? Get it. I was literally just talking to someone who rated my stream earlier, and they're a Space Wolves player. That was just today. Like I said, I absolutely despise Space Wolves and their lore and their look and everything. However, the Space Wolf players I have played against have always been very pleasant. Very good opponents and fun opponents, so. Dunder Stuff has got the quote. No. They do, yeah, Space Wolf players sniff me out. Something about me. I think they just find me. If someone commissions me a painted Leman Russ, I wouldn't be too unhappy about it. I just like painting 30k minis in general, so if, you know, even if they're Space Wolves. cool to paint. I think the 30K Space Wolves have a pretty decent aesthetic. Just did nothing wrong. It depends on if you think being illiterate on purpose is wrong or not. Seed. It tracks the Sons of Magnus. Yeah, no kidding. my brother-in-law is getting into 40K. He's like, man, I'm looking at Space Wolves. Like, Space Wolves look really cool. And I was like, don't do it. And I was like, don't do it. And he eventually decided against it. He's like, yeah, I couldn't get into Space Wolves. He's like, so instead I got Black Templars. And I was like, ugh. That's a big picture standpoint. Maybe worse. But Space Wolf made of the Month a while ago, trying to decide whose base it goes on to. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Space Wolves ride their transfigured brothers into battle. They do, yeah. There are no wolves on Fenris. Right. Yeah, the Black Templars are a different kind of bad. It's even worse. It is. I know. It's just funny because, like, you know, Space Wolves, we can all kind of, like, you know, joke around and ha ha ha, cringe and furries and stuff. But then you get into, like, Black Templar players have they have a specific reputation. And it's definitely not a good one. Okay, I had to explain the Black Templars to her. Yeah. There was a really good I saw this. It's I don't know, this woman is an author. And she created a Space Marine TTRPG, and yeah, it's you play a Space Marine, and she posted the entire rule set for free. And there's a very interesting blurb that she puts about, like, what is a Space Marine, and it was a great read. It's a good like 5 or 6 paragraphs or something. But I'll have to post it. I'll post it in a channel after stream or something for you guys to read, because I thought it was really interesting. Actually, my wife read it, who, you know, doesn't know anything about 40K, and she was kind of like, wow. She's like, I have so many questions about this. I was like, yes, please ask them. Yeah. Black Templars tend to not saying this is Black Templar players, but something about the Black Templars, like, way of, I don't know, like the chapter culture or something, attracts a certain group of, like, people that you would maybe only see on internet forums that I don't like people linking here, like 4chan. Yeah, the whole like turbo fascism seems to get a certain group. Yeah. Yeah. I think there was a was it in Spain, I think? That was a couple years ago, but I remember there was a story. Someone showed up. People were taking pictures of the guy and everything, but he showed up at a to a tournament, and he was playing Black Templars. And again, if you play Black Templars, just don't act like this, okay? I don't hold personal opinions about people, but a guy playing Black Templars at a tournament in Spain, and he was wearing the full Nazi outfit, and just trying to provoke people and everything. And yeah, it was a whole thing. Like, people wanted him kicked out, but there's, like, I think it's against the law in Spain for kicking someone out for, like, free speech laws or whatever. And like, the guy was taking like advantage of it in a really weird way. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know laws in Spain. That's the thing. I don't know how laws work in Spain, so I can't comment on why it was a big deal and why people couldn't do what they wanted to do about the person. But it was not in the United States, so laws are different in different countries. And not to say people know the laws in their own country any better than we know our own here, but yeah. Yeah, in the US, yeah. But that's, there's different ways to interpret laws. Like, we were talking about the STL creator, is it like Gamrak or something? Garmac, whatever his name was. And how Games Workshop is suing him for his designs, and their legal reasoning is something called unfair competition. In the US, unfair competition has no legal definition. It's nonsense. It's made up. And when the guy made the video about it, complaining about GW doing this, he mentioned unfair competition and was talking about how, this doesn't make sense. It's made up. Like, there's no legal precedent for this. But what he didn't mention is he is Italian and in Italy, which is where the lawsuit is happening. And in Italy, there's actually a legal definition for the term unfair competition. And it's basically, IP infringement is what it is. So, but, it seems, as much as GW is, big bad corporation, that's, and all that, but, we can't interpret every country's laws through the lens of, like American law. Yeah, culture American, of course, like, you follow the law or you suffer consequences, right? But the laws themselves and what people are allowed and not allowed to do are different in different countries. I don't know why this is like an argument thing. Do better, we should be taking notes. Yeah, we should always be learning from others, right? Whether they're doing good or ill. Yeah, I'm just saying, this is a situation that happened years ago. And I remember it was a big issue in the community because the organizers claimed they couldn't do what people wanted them to do. And that was the situation. But as I have not read any law books or case law in Spanish law, I don't know the specifics, and I don't think it's probably not something that I would assume anybody here understands. Okay, all right. We can be we can be done with this. sued a company based in England. It's a genius move to invoke the laws from the US because why not? Yeah, okay. Alright. We'll be done. We'll be done. I'm painting these Emperor's Children. Now, I'm on mini number 5, actually, so we're cruising. We're cruising through this, guys. Strange women lying in ponds distributing swords is no basis for a government. Fellblade gloss coated. Nice. I'm excited to see it, Moojus. It's a word bearers, right? One of these days, someone will play a game against me with my Fellblade. But it is not this day. This day is a learning day. I don't want to teach someone how super heavies work, so I don't think super heavies are as ridiculous. I mean, they were never like good in second edition, but I don't think the rules are as like game changing in third. I think the Titan rules probably are, but I don't think normal super heavies are. They're just expensive and powerful. 2 Bane Blades. Yeah, dude, you need Shadow Sword. You can just laugh at everybody else's super heavies. Just laugh and one-shot everything. I will happily play against Thanatars because Thanatars have a toughness value. That means Thousand Suns can kill it. With my rolls, yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, when your strength equals the armor of what you're shooting, you don't have to roll dice. That's the thing. You'll miss the hit, but your scatter can't miss. That's the thing. They can't scatter far enough to miss the target. That's what makes it so good. You just always hit. If you're shooting anything like Land Raider size or bigger. You know, so what if you're snapshotting, you know? Say that Sardu Lake can possess dreadnoughts and make him fight for me. Oh, that's cool. Worst thing to play against is Necrons in 40k. Possibly, yeah. Necrons have... it can be annoying if you like don't know what to do when you play against Necrons in 40k. The thing you have to do when you play against Necrons, because a Necron player who's leaning into the resurrection protocols, what they'll normally take are tools to make that resurrection protocol stronger, and those tools that make that stronger are typically on pretty fragile minis. So there are 2 things you do when you play against a Necron player in 40k. First of all, you focus fire units. You don't spread your shots out. Even if it's like you think it's suboptimal, or like, you know, oh well, I can split fire and I'll have a chance of killing this, and then I can grab this. Don't do that. As soon as you do that, you're giving them more free models, because everything they raise back is a free model that they get. So you concentrate your fire, and the other thing is you concentrate on those weak support pieces first, and you start taking those down, and then like the whole system starts collapsing. Yeah, once they can't get all their benefits to their resurrect rules, like it just starts taking everything down. And then instead of dealing with, you know, like 4 D3 Necron warriors coming back at the end of a phase or end of a turn or whatever, you're dealing with like 1 D3. And it's less points your opponent's getting, and when they teched into that kind of play style, they really suffer. Build phase out rules are great. You drop them to 50%, they have a chance to leave the battlefield. Oh, cool. I don't remember those rules. Nice. Yeah. Just have a chance to run. I still have a tendency to call the rule "will be back." Hey, T-Slayer, what's up? Okay. Let's get the backpack, and then we're a quarter of the way done with this color after only an hour and a half. Cool. Very cool. Maybe I'm being optimistic, thinking I'll finish these tomorrow, but whatever. We're chilling. It's all good. Yep. Yeah. Gotta do it with the Austrian accent. Great, dude. I have the 3rd edition Necron Codex in my possession. It wasn't mine. Killicam actually gave it to me to hold on to. I would never call this book mine. It's always his. He had it when he was a kid, and he just kind of, I guess he gave it to me, but if he ever asked for any of these books back, I'd be more than happy to give them back to him.
First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your home.
Dr. Boydzerg, welcome. Hooray, I'm useful. What's going on, man? How you doing? What are you up to, Dr. Boydzerg? Pretty difficult name to say a lot of times. Say 3rd edition Necrons. Yes, I did. Yeah, I have that book. I have some of the minis too. Old warriors, the old destroyers, the same destroyers that are still around today. Nightbringer, the same current Nightbringer that we have today, soon to be replaced, but some Rons, yeah. All right, 5 down. Let's keep going. We got another Sergeant mini. Hobby about a year. Main army's Necrons. Mess around with Admech. All right, cool. Not a Space Wolf player. Sweet. Very nice. Yeah, I'm painting these Emperor's Children as a commission. So I do a lot of those. If you guys want me to paint a mini for you or something, you know, send me a message. But painting these, I do have multiple 40k armies, and yeah, it feels like 200 more to go. Yeah. I haven't played 40k in quite some time. I wasn't a huge fan of 10th edition. I gave it the old college try. I went to an event, and yeah, played quite a few games and just decided to stick with some other things. So I've been playing Horus Heresy, has been my main game. and I've been having a lot of fun with it. Enjoying the new edition. Making little YouTube videos about the new edition too, so that's been fun. Which there's a new one out today if you guys are willing to suffer through me talking for another half hour about random things. Started 40k last October. Yeah, you've been playing it for a year now. Dang. Yeah, Silvertide Necrons is a lot of fun, though. Is a fun way to play him. Okay, we got the legs here. Yeah, happy 1 year anniversary. There's like so much. Yeah. I've been playing these games for, almost 25 years at this point, and I'm still learning all kinds of stuff, whether it's lore or painting or gaming or whatever. So it's tons to learn. Very big setting. Yeah, there's just so many things. Thursday I'll be playing my first game, not playing AdMech. I'll be playing Thousand Suns. Nice. Magnus and a bunch of Tzeentch demons, or a bunch of Zangor. The only way to play Thousand Suns. That's how GW wants you to play Thousand Suns. That's why they give you 400 Zangor minis in every box. You only get 4 Zangor. Oh yeah, you just get the Disc Rider dudes, right? The Enlightened? Is that what they're called? Well, it comes with, that's too bad. I think Thousand Suns players are going to miss getting Zangors. The numbers that they did. Okay, let's get this arm, his head, and then his backpack. Named characters were taboo, and you had to ask permission. Yep. The rules even had you asking permission to bring a named character. Yeah, I remember that. I think it was, I think that was 4th edition and before, right? I think once we got around to 5th edition, I think the Space Marine Codex in 5th had the way you got chapter-specific rules for Space Marines was bringing the associated special character for that chapter, like Vulcan Histon or big fist hammer guy himself, Lysander, or Pedro Cantor, any of those people. But having that character on the board gave you like the themed rule for that chapter, and at that point it was kind of done with asking to bring special characters, right? Because you're like, well, I just want to play Salamanders, so that's who I'm playing. and I have Captain of the Fifth Company. What's his name? Not Vulcan Histon. So. Still maintain it. A lot of people take those rules out of the characters. Okay, oh, that's cool. Not my community. My game group wasn't like that, but yeah, because you went from the 4th edition book where you did like a build your own chapter with the traits, the positive and negative, the advantages and disadvantages that you would choose, and you would make your own chapter, and you went from that to, you know, your Ultramarines unless you take this character. And I think pre-internet the freakout wasn't as bad because the internet makes everything worse, but you know, a lot of people were upset. I remember myself included thinking it was really lame. But you know, 40k ever the competitive war game. We're taking tons of special characters. I think Vulcan was the big problem one because he just made all your Melta better. And the biggest issue in 5th edition was vehicles. Just getting rerolls on all your Melta weapons was insane. I think it made them all twin linked, which gave you rerolls to hit on all your Melta and flamers. Flamers, you got rerolls to wound. Bringing Magnus is the only way to hit 1,000 points. Oh yeah, no, I don't have any judgment on someone bringing special characters. That's just how the game used to be. Was started. Yeah, exactly, Doc Rose, exactly. A lot of people wouldn't bring the special character as their name, which people still do today when they bring special characters, right? Especially like Space Marine characters. They make it their own character, but then they use the rules for someone like Vulcan Histon. So like, well, I want to play Ultramarines, but I want them to be good against tanks, so I'm going to bring Vulcan Histon. But I don't want to paint Vulcan Histon because I'm not playing Salamanders. So I'm going to bring this Ultramarines captain with a flamethrower and a spear, and his name is going to be, I don't know, something else. Yeah, one king game with Magnus would be wild, though. Yeah, that sounds like a pretty hard target. Fun. For a challenge, play Grey Knights. Yeah. Yeah, you tell them and you let them like kind of make their list to prepare for it, right? Big dude with entourage versus other big dude with entourage, yeah. That's kind of how it works out, right? About to play Avelios in like a 5,000 point game. He's not gonna let me bring a Fellblade. I spooked him with the Typhon. That's the problem. My heavy siege tank. I'd never put the thing on the board, and we're like, let's try out 3rd edition rules. I was like, you mind if I bring my Lord of War? And he's like, sure. I brought my Typhon, and it blew up a Leman Russ turn 1 on its first shot. When we're like, everybody's like, yeah, vehicles are a lot stronger. And then then it's just like, oh, I killed that. And then I got lucky with my other tank, just like blew up like 4 more Leman Russes. It's ridiculous. More heretical painting. Always heretical painting, Dadalorian. How you doing? Did it blow up 2 Russes? Because the one exploded, and I remember you had packed like Velataris? I don't know, whatever the elite dudes are, like around the tank, and I managed to hit them and the tank, and then so I killed a bunch, and then I blew up the tank because it only had 6 hull points. I did 6 damage with the gun, and it exploded, and then it killed off the rest of the Velatari. And pie plates are fun though. Fun. Hey, we learned 2 valuable lessons in that game. 1, damage 6 is really good. Okay, on any gun in Heresy. 2, spread your dudes out. What if we do some Loyalist painting? We can do some Loyalist painting. These are Loyalist Emperor's Children. What are you talking about? Large blast damage. Yeah, yeah. One deadly demise to learn this weapon. Well, and I'm just talking about like straight up blast templates hitting stuff. And Heresy, like, you gotta be mindful of your unit coherency and stuff, because everybody's packed together. Like, you get hit with one blast and kind of over. They can't. Those guys could have spread out. They could have spread out. Take heavy list. I'm dropping 100+ infantry bodies. Yeah. Well, I hope you like the new missions. I need to look over the battlefield assets. I'm curious how those work, because I haven't played with those yet. So, but if I'm playing the attacker, the thing you have to remember as the defender is the attacker like has all of the agency for scoring points in that game. Like, it's the attacker scores the points on their turn, or if they don't score those points, the defender scores the points. So it's like it's up to the attacker. Which is kind of weird. They don't have a lot of impact, but they're fun. Okay. Yeah, 14 tarantulas. Yeah, just block my army off turn 1. Avelios, we were talking about that the other day, and then I saw a YouTube video pop up this morning. People talking about tarantulas being overpowered. You know, I wouldn't bring 14 tarantulas, not because not necessarily because it's like it's too overpowered or anything. I wouldn't bring it because it just seems kind of lame. And I like my defensive gun emplacements and stuff, but it's like super gamey to bring a bunch of emplacements and infiltrate them right in front of your opponent and just block them off. Like that seems like a really gamey thing to do. Ooh, assassins? Cool, that'd be fun. Alright. See you tomorrow. Alright, done stuff. Have a good one. That's the mission, but never match play. Yeah, and it's like playing a bunch of defensive turrets. If you're playing them like in a thematic sense, you don't just stick them in a line in front of the opponent. Like that would make zero tactical sense in a real world, you know, or a more realistic scenario. I know 40k and swords and stuff, but yeah, you would spread them out. You'd put them in choke points. You'd try to conceal them. Like you would do all these different things to mess with the opponent over a prolonged period of time to slow him down. So yeah, so if I took 14 tarantulas anyway, I'd be hiding behind buildings and around corners and, like, you know, giving them melta-guns and threatening people to like, you know, go ahead and turn the corner with your with your Land Raider and see what happens, kind of thing. Get going. All right, Wandering Pig, have a good one. Thank you guys for coming to hang out. I appreciate it. I'm gonna be on longer, but I appreciate you guys chilling with me today. You guys have a good day. Device and separating mini from its base that was plastic cemented on. A razor saw is a good one. Or are you trying to salvage the base? Or are you fine to dump the base, because that affects what you do. A razor saw is going to cut off a tiny sliver of the bottom of the foot, but it shouldn't affect, you know, the actual model quality or anything. But otherwise, I recommend not using a hobby knife on the full base, but if you can, get your clippers and clip around the foot on the base and get each foot off the base, and then you can more easily use your hobby knife to shave off pieces. Or good old-fashioned pliers, depending how much plastic glue you used. I could still pry that bad boy off of there. Just destroy the base. You get the feet isolated, yeah. Yeah, since you're not dealing with like actual feet pieces though, that's I think you can be a little more violent using pliers on a skull. good there. I think we're good there. It's number 7. Alright, we have a bolter guy. We'll have more sword guys still. We've only done 6 sword guys. One guy we did was a sergeant. Well, I guess 7 of the 11 of the sword guys. And there's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Yeah. Good luck. Good luck. This is a time-consuming process doing these highlights. So that's what I get paid the big bucks for, though, right? I'm enjoying the minis still. These are fun minis to paint. I think these are more enjoyable to paint than the World Eaters, the 40k World Eaters. And it's been a long time since I painted rubrics, so I would say I'm enjoying this experience painting these more than I painted the rubrics originally. But when I painted the rubrics, I was either wholly unprepared with what was required of me to paint those, or I despised the color scheme and it was miserable anyway. So No, I'm not painting the new robots. Sound miserable. It was funny when the rumor was going around there were new robots. You know, I had put in my mind, like, oh man, they're gonna look sweet. I'm gonna use them as like I can use them as like a proxy for Castellax, and like it's gonna be really cool, like having that stuff in plastic and everything. And man, they showed off those minis. I don't know if I've ever been more disappointed in like a GW mini reveal in those minis. And you know, it's partially my fault for hyping up something that was non-existent in the first place, but I don't think I was totally out of line in thinking that those are not good-looking minis. 30k has spoiled us for robots, that's right, yeah. Arms or shoulders or the head. Okay, we got legs, backpack. Let's finish getting the chest here. Realize how much AdMech feel every time a new model comes out and they look at the 30k line. I think you're right about that, yeah. I have never given a like second look at AdMech to be like, man, do I like these minis or do I not? Like I really don't like the AdMech line. But when those plastic Mechanica minis were first announced, like I was floored. I was like, these are all so good looking. But I could not collect an AdMech or a Mechanicum army because I had too many Thousand Suns to paint, and I was also had Solar Auxilia to paint at the time. my own that I had purchased and not got to, so. Death Guard only got the only good looking mini of the existing Special Legions. The sword guy looks out of straight out of Monster Hunter. Is that what that is? MH? Yeah, I mean the World Eaters and the Thousand, at least the Thousand Suns got a unit, right? But the World Eaters got like a 64 bound or whatever he is at this point. And like that was it for a unit. That's probably my least favorite unit of the World Eaters anyway. And like that's, it just got another one of those in character form. Monster Hunter. Okay. I see MH, my mind immediately goes to Monument Hobbies. So I'm like, what do you mean Monument Hobbies mini? What is that? Slaughterbound. 3 8-pound profiles now. Yeah, it's insane. Yeah, I think I don't know, like if the 40K designers like box themselves in with the World Eaters or what, but it seems like they made these like immutable laws about what World Eaters are, and they can't deviate them. It's like everybody has to have a chain axe. You know, like chain axes have to be part of the models. They have to be melee. They have to be crazy.
First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your.
You know, like they're, it's like they're not doing anything to deviate from that, which is just strange, you know. Yeah. Hey, what is that? Did you bring in Brigand? Welcome in. Thank you for the follow. You know, and I think it would be like really cool to have World Eaters Marine Infantry that have bolters. You know what? Put a chain band out on their bolters. That's fine, but it'd be cool to have a bolter unit coming up with lore as to why they differentiate from berserkers, right? I really like what they did with the Emperor's Children, where the Noise Marines are like the elite veterans, and then they have other people that have their other goals, you know, other ways they kind of worship Slaanesh in their combat and what they do. Like, I think that's great. Alright, there's 8 of them. Let's keep going. Yeah, chain bayonets would be cool. Then at least they would be usable in one game system. A Sonic Dreadnought would be cool. Yeah, getting a Dreadnought for each of the factions, each of the Chaos Marine Legions would be perfect. And now, since they have all 4 of the big ones out, they could, you know, could you imagine updated Hellbrute model with, I don't know, the options to make it, or they just made a different one for each legion. Just do it like the Chaos Demon or the Demon Prince mini, I guess. But yeah, I'd love to see something like that. Would be separate kits. Yeah, yeah, if they could, yeah, separate kits would definitely be ideal. So they could work everything in there. But I'm thinking like that would end up being like 5 Dreadnought kits. Which I know GW is not beyond making 5 separate Dreadnought kits. But that does seem like a lot. Because they got to refresh the your standard Hellbrood as well. Because that many is old. Balance in numbers and lore. Oh, I think Chaos Factions in lore, I think Black Legion's by far the biggest. But Black Legion, like, they accept people from, like, other, you know, like Renegades or whatever that come in and just join the Black Legion. I think it's pretty rare that there's a Black Legion that, a member that's, like, a veteran of the Long War, right? That was alive during the Heresy. Are Wordbearers still the biggest? Okay. With Big Baby Lorgar leading them, huh? Or does he do anything? Is it just, what's his name? Orpharin that leads him? More popular with cult? No. Cultists kind of follow any different god or undivided. Just depends on the cultist. You know a little about him, yeah. Yeah, Alpha Legion's cool. Alpha Legion could be the largest in number. But nobody knew their numbers before the Heresy, during the Heresy, after the Heresy, so... That shoulder, that arm, we got the legs. Let's get the torso. This is insane. I'm on number 9. That's it. Whereas since Daddy Steel probably recruited tons more warriors for better siege. Yeah. Well, I always thought the idea was the Ultramarines had the largest legion right at the outset of the Heresy, but that's because Guilliman and his logistical genius in recruiting from multiple planets and not being held back by like oh, it's the honorable thing to only recruit from our home planet or whatever. So they were just going for the most efficient things possible. But then I don't know, Legion numbers are all over the place. Did he also pull in from the Lost and Forgotten? You're talking about like the 2nd and 11th Legions? That could be the case. Yeah. I've also heard Dark Angels getting them too. Does logistical genius include working with Xenos? I mean, hey, if it's the more logical thing to do, then I guess. Storage of canon where Slaanesh converted a bunch of Imperials by giving them a shower, a soft bed, and a decent meal. Definition of pleasure, but the Imperium is a hellhole. So, that kind of motivation would make one more popular. Yeah. Probably. But, you know, like, it's also like there's a ton of death in the galaxy, right? And death is what Nurgle thrives on. So, it's not always that you're worshipping the Chaos God. So there is a character from Warhammer Fantasy called Festus. I think it's Festus. And he's a dude. He's just a dude that is like he's like a big Nurgle follower now. He's creates these horrible diseases and spreads them and everything. But his whole story started where he was a doctor. And he saw so much like pain and suffering and death, and he always wanted to help people. And somehow he turned to Nurgle, and it was like it wasn't like oh man, like I just love being around diseases. I guess I want to follow Nurgle now. It was more like he wanted to help people. And so I don't know if he ended up making a bargain with Nurgle himself to, be a better doctor or whatever, but like that kind of started the corruption. That willingness to do good and to kind of go above and beyond to help people in their, hour of death or sickness or whatever. So, he makes pretty horrible diseases, but I guess he thinks he's still helping people. Kind of his thing. Is that Festus? Which legion has the most survivors from the heresy? Probably the Ultramarines. I think it was the Ultramarines. Even though they were hit really hard, but I think that's one of the reasons that Guilliman was able to just like kind of take over in a way that he did and like enforce the Codex Astartes and all those things. Twisting the good intentions until they're no longer recognizable. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's kind of the idea. Yeah, he's the god of like lots of different things, right, Nurgle? So. Okay. Number 10 here. He'd kill all the Primarchs? Maybe. I don't know. No, he'd probably still see some use in them. The Emperor, for how powerful he is, he never seemed too bright. He had no, like, long-term thinking. The dude had serious ADHD. Like, he would get an idea and he would just, like, go in on it and just not tell anybody. Always to his detriment. Also a section of Space Wolves that are heretics called the Dark Wolves. Yeah, I still hold to whenever Leman Russ comes to 40k, that he might think he's a good guy and has good intentions or whatever, but he's a hideously mutated beast, and it turns the Space Wolves into like an almost like good guy renegades. That's cool. I'm fine if they're like anti-heroes and the Imperium hates them. I think that would be cool for them. And it would be an interesting difference than just another Primarch coming back and being just like a dude trying to do good, like the Lion and Gilliman are both doing. Like, we got enough of that. Let's bring some interesting stories in. It's a crazy long highlight. I don't feel like I'm taking that long per mini, but what is this, 20 minutes at least per mini? Russ is going to come out of the warp with Isha. Yeah. How would that change any? I don't even know. Like, I know Isha's like an Eldar god, but should be army rules in 40k for renegades who still serve the Emperor. I think that's just playing Space Marines, honestly. Like, I don't necessarily know if there's like a different rule set that you need for that. Hey, 30k next week we'll get Shattered Legion rules, which could be renegades, but it's just playing multiple legions in the same army with like rules that go along with it. Primarchs are coming. The Eldar just become part of the Imperium. Which faction do you play? In 40k, I don't play much 40k anymore, but I have an Ultramarine army, I have Dark Eldar, I have Necrons, and I have Genestealer cults. In 30k, it's Thousand Sons. Thousand Sons and allied forces to the Thousand Sons, so Auxilian Militia. Eldar couldn't do worse than the High Lords are. That's true. That's true. They wouldn't. For that guy, I believe so. That's 10 down, guys. Halfway done. it's 1:30 already. Would it be neat if Russ came out mutated, like you said? Yeah. Yeah, Korax would be another good one that comes out mutated, right? Like, they gotta start putting variety on the Primarchs, on the Loyalist Primarchs. Yeah, the Korax mutation is canon. Yeah, I think there was a canon story about him. He terrorizes Lorgar in the warp. He's like a crazy bird man that just like stalks Lorgar. Yeah, Korax mini, that would be cool. Yeah. To be fair, though, even if it was canon, GW changes canon all the time. Yeah, I think it's gonna be Russ. Yeah, I think Russ is gonna come out in this end of edition campaign. It's gonna be Russ. Yeah, Lorgar is just haunted by those words. Nevermore. The Space Wolves Codex actually sets up having a Primarch in the book. There is a rule in the book that talks about it's like usable with Primarchs, which is weird because I don't know if you can field Primarchs with Space Wolves, or maybe you can field like Guilliman with like an Imperium army or something, but regardless, it's strange. Do you guys think you think 11th edition will bring back points costs for war gear? I think if it does, I think GW is definitely going to hype that up as like, look at this brand new feature we're putting in. We listen to the fans or whatever. A little more steel down here. Probably not. You don't think they'd put a war gear cost back? 11th needs to bring back limits, you think? Yeah. You know, thinking about that, I honestly wonder, like, I've thought about this before. Like would limits make your army feel more like an army? And as someone who went, you know, from second to third edition Heresy, which I've played, you know, most 40k editions through edition changes and stuff to see different things, and between second and third edition Heresy, second edition you had your, you know, the old school force organization, you had your HQ and 2 troops that were required, and then you could have, you know, limited numbers of everything else. And the new edition of Heresy has the detachments, where there are limits to what you could bring, but there's a lot of ways to work into bringing like extra stuff, and it involves like giving up other advantages and stuff, which is it's a really unique way of building an army compared to Games Workshop games in the past. But what I've noticed is not having a limit on particular units like that, like elites and stuff, the amount of troops people bring to a battle, the amount of tactical marines and, you know, things like rhinos and all these things that you would see, characters, the things that you think would make up, you know, like the backbone of an army, would make sense to see in an army, are a lot more prevalent in third edition Heresy than they ever were in second edition Heresy. And I don't think it has anything to do with the limits on units you can take. I think it's actually because those units are good and useful. So, you know, you have, let's say for example, an intercessor squad in 40k. An intercessor squad, it's dudes with bolters, and they're like OC2 or something, right? So they're better at holding objectives if they're contested. But otherwise, you know, what the kind of strategy is normally people don't take them, because contesting objectives is for noobs, and you don't really need to do that. Their damage output is pretty low. So like you don't bring them to damage, you bring them to do actions on objectives, right? But there are cheaper units that do that. So, you know, it's kind of ends up being like a what's the point? And they didn't increase their damage. They made them like more like damage efficient, right? When they basically like double their shots if they focus their fire or whatever. But in Heresy 3rd edition, tactical squads are good. Basic infantry squads are really good kind of across the board. There's, you know, maybe a couple that aren't, but the tactical squads in general are really good. Rhinos, really good. Like, and they have a rule, you know, anything that's not a vehicle or automaton or whatever, the newer rules, anything that's not a vehicle can hold objectives. It's just you score more points. It's not, well, you're also better at contesting, but you just flat out score more points on objectives when you bring tacticals. But that's only part of their usefulness. Tacticals are dirt cheap, and they actually do put out good firepower. And I think it's actually less shots than an intercessor puts out in 40k, but it's more useful firepower. There's no rerolls in the game, so kind of what you get is what you get. It just seems to make tacticals overall way better in the game. And I'm at the point where like 4 squads in a normal game, 4 squads of tactical marines, that's 40 tactical marines, and like a 3,000 point game is kind of like the bar, like the low bar maybe. Yeah, rhinos do have tons of options. Most people don't care about the options on rhinos. They actually almost doubled the cost of rhinos between 2nd and 3rd edition, and they're more popular now than they ever were. And it's because of how transports are utilized in the game, and how they work. And then just rhinos they're durable. They protect your squads going up to the front, which is what they're supposed to do. And they're fast. They give you a ton of speed. Yeah, you have to actually balance the game, right? You can't just put hard limits on things and expect that to work out the balance. And I hope GW has learned that. Funny statement, I get it. Like I know they haven't, but like I get letting people bring what they want. But it ends up just being crazy. Like, it doesn't actually balance the game when you just set limits, because people just take the bare minimum and then they take the most of what's good, right? And it still ends up looking janky. Yeah, Havoc launchers are really good. They're really good. In 10th, if your basic troop doesn't have sticky or isn't a cheap action monkey, it's getting left behind. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And like, there's no reason to take 10 intercessors, right, in a squad. I think intercessors have sticky objectives, but like you don't need 10 dudes to get the sticky objective, just the 5. So why would you bring like a loreful, accurate squad of 10 intercessors? Now I know in Heresy, your minimum squad size for a tactical squad is 10. So yeah, Thousand Sons are blessed with having such a small and limited roster that you kind of end up fielding a lot of the stuff from the army. Rubrics happen to be one of the better options in a Thousand Sons army, though, right? Or at least they were for a long time. One detachment where you pay 1 CP to sticky. Yeah. So you can get the sticky on anybody, right? It's kind of the thing. I was talking to an opponent I played my last game, and we were talking about the durability of rhinos, and partially I had some really bad luck shooting at a rhino, and it took me 3 turns to kill a rhino with a big Arachne turret that is literally made to kill stuff like rhinos. But he was talking about, like, man, if I just put multi-meltas on these, like, they'd be a real menace. And like, yeah, they would be. But you're paying 60 points for the rhino, and then you're getting one shot multi-melta for another 25 points. So you're 85 points in on a rhino. And multi-meltas are good, but they're not like... It's very rare that you're going to one-shot a tank with a multi-melta in Heresy. It used to be like an almost guaranteed kill. If you had a multi-melta, you're just going to kill something. Like Havoc launchers, I think, are a different story because they put out statuses, so like that has like a different utility to it. But like even the Trios is like that thing is ridiculous though. Those are not comparable items. A Rhino and the Triarios, like your armor 15 tank with its what do you call that? The dumb shields that you like remove armor bane from weapons shooting at it and everything, like that's not the same. A pair of rhinos, yeah, just keep doubling down on rhinos with multi-meltas. I mean, you can. It's definitely a strategy. Yeah, 2 rhinos with multi-meltas, I think you get 3 jet bikes with multi-meltas, which isn't great either. Like, I don't like multi-meltas that much. Or just meltas that much in the new edition. Because they really struggle going up against armor 14. You really have to spike 6s to do anything to armor 14, and there's no rerolls in the game, so... Your odds of one-shotting tanks are really low. I even played against an opponent that was using the Kratos with the big Melta Blast gun. That I have heard people complaining that that's like the broken tank. Like that one's really good, way too cheap for what it does, and it might be too cheap for what it does. But I just know that he shot at my Dreadnought with like 30 damage worth of weapons, and my Dreadnought lived through it. So like even then, it comes down to dice. Anecdotal, right? Meltas are better for Dreadnoughts. Yeah. I'd agree with that. The heavy rule is hard to get around with Meltas, though. Like, multi-Meltas are heavy range strength, which getting them up to strength 9 or whatever is good, but you have to move in to use it, and then you forfeit the heavy rules, so you're still fishing for 6s most of the time. To kill heavy stuff, to kill like 14 armor stuff. Demolisher cannons are the way of the future, yeah. Demolisher cannons and laser destroyers are the way to go. Is the Cryos really good anti-tank? I'm not too familiar with the stats on that. Means we're getting Land Raider Ares. Well, you can get a Land Raider with a Demolisher cannon on it already. It's called a Typhon. And it's a giant Demolisher cannon. On a stable platform that can move and still get its heavy rule, so, or its ordnance rule. It's a root tank, yeah. Now let's get this wrist. That'll be a good stopping point. We got 12 of 20 done. Big gun, yeah, yeah. Chigascott will work best alongside Nurgle. Khorne, maybe? Right? No, or Khorne and Nurgle. No, Khorne and Slaanesh are like antithesis, right? Probably Nurgle. I got 100% veto that take every time. That's fair. So I can just take the Fellblade then. It's not a Typhon. It does have a Demolisher cannon on it, but... Alright, 8 more. 8 more. What type of wash am I playing? I'm kind of done washing these guys, so we're just doing highlights. Trying to capture some light on the minis here. We got the skin, we got the pink, we're getting the silver, we got the gold, so black, the greens, the little accordion pattern inside the armor, and like all these like tubes and stuff. And then some like miscellaneous things, like their belts, miscellaneous things like eyeballs and whatever this little tilt shield design is supposed to be, and stuff like that. That's what I do. And this guy totally forgot to do his shoulders, so let's just put him back over there. All right, you know, let's do that shoulder real quick, so we don't have to worry about it. Easier to deal with than most Chaos armies, but still a pain. What wash did I use? Oh, you asked me. Okay. So I didn't wash most of the mini. The skin, I used a diluted flesh wash from Pro Acryl over a tan flesh, and then the gold I used a mix. It was all diluted with some flow improver, but it was a mix of gray brown wash and flesh wash from Pro Acryl. I diluted it so it just kind of got like a dirty kind of shade in their shadow. Excuse me. That's it. That's the only washes I put on these minis. I gotta do plasma effects on these guys. Yeah. So we'll get around to them. We're working on it. I think tomorrow I'll continue. I'm gonna try to work on these some tonight too. I'm gonna try to finish assembling these Noise Marines. This is what I got done, plus a bunch of pieces. But I'm going to try to work on these Noise Marines more tonight. I want to finish the silver on these 8 if I can. That's still a lot. It's a big ask painting 8 of these guys. Just my evening or whatever. But working on these, I think it's the last sword guy. No, I have 2 more sword guys. There's so many sword guys. So I'll finish these guys up. Hopefully start the Noise Marines soon. And yeah, that'll be... Hopefully the Noise Marines won't take as long. There's 12 of them. They have a lot more going on in the minis, but it's 12 of them. Alright, guys. I'm going to go ahead and call the stream there today. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out and keeping me company and everything. Hopefully these minis are turning out well. I like how they're turning out. Pink and black is a fun color combination. But yeah, I'll be back on tomorrow at 11 a.m. Should be another fun day of stream. But you guys have a wonderful afternoon. And go check out the YouTube video. I just uploaded another Thousand Suns YouTube video. If you wouldn't mind watching or giving a like, doing both those things, something like that. Much appreciated. But thank you guys. Have a great day. Bye, everybody.